last round here, playing for it all, and our hand is good. Our opponent mulled to 3, so I don't know what's really going on there, but he's got Serum Visions. I don't know, might get a little something going here, but we have Thought Scour, which is pretty sweet, or just the Serum Visions like we always have. Because we're really good. We're whitelisted. We pay well for that service. And it's pretty worth it, I think. The only issue is that, sometimes you play bad, and then the whitelisting is just not that worth it. But third land, yeah, I could use that, since I have 3 Snapcaster Mages. That'd be pretty nice. I think I want our land to be a fetch land, even though having access to double red right away would be pretty nice, but maybe we could just fetch a mountain. We can't really do that in Thought Scour ourselves, unfortunately, so maybe we have to take some damage. Yeah, definitely want this third land, and would not mind leaving a spell in the yard to Snapcaster for, so I think we just want this turn. And do your worst with your 2 cards. Nothing, huh? That's your worst? That's all you got? Well, if you're not doing anything, I'm going to fetch a Steam Vents. I'll help you out a little bit. Maybe we should Thought Scour him and see what he's up to. But I'll just play this Tarmogoyf instead. And I think I want the Serum Visions for the Snapcaster. Turn 2 Tasker every game. Every game. He's so cheap. Oh, more Taskers. Alright. Just how we drew it up. Opponent is still not doing anything. Yeah, maybe I should have kept the Thought Scour. No. Kind of want to just, yeah, whatever. I'll just tell him. Ooh, maybe Stubborn Denial would be good here. Exarch, no, we're not going to kill you with Exarchs. Land, sure. You're probably just going to untap and concede. Ooh, another island. Okay. And should have Serum Vision there, but I'm just gonna go like Bolt, Snap, Bolt, I think. So is he twin? Is that what's going on? Pretty crazy for a twin deck to mull to 3, but it could certainly happen. So this is just kind of a non-game since our opponent's not really doing anything. Our draw happened to be pretty good, so would have been kind of cool if we actually got to play a game, but I suppose in the interest of winning packs and whatnot, it's not the worst thing. But I'm here to entertain, you know. So I think we're just going to sideboard like he's twin. And if nothing else, I feel like the cards that we're bringing in are probably not going to be the worst anyway. Don't have a ton of experience here, so I assume the bolts are not great, but if he is like Pester Mites instead of Deceivers, then bolts are actually pretty good, but it could also have something like Grim Lavamancer, like that was a card that Todd played that I just instantly cut from the deck because I didn't think it was very good, but might end up being very good here. But I'm kind of over it. Just have the bolts. And then spell skites, I guess, could be a thing. So I think we can bring in one grudge. Could probably cut a Tasigur. And then 2 other cards. Spell Snare seems good in Counter Wars and against spell skites. Maybe Cryptic is not great because it costs 4. Not very good in Counter Wars. Maybe I could just shave a Thought Scour. Maybe I'm supposed to cut a Snapcaster Mage because I'm not bolting anymore. Obviously, if it gets to the super late game, then Snapcaster's great, but I think the plan is to try and combo here. Although I could certainly see a world in which we just like side out Twins again and then just have a bunch of Taskers and kill them that way. So we'll try this. We'll try going hard one way and then see what happens. And if we're trying to combo, this is certainly a good one. And our opponent was lucky enough to keep 7 cards, so. Bloodstained Mire. Interesting. One of these is definitely going to fetch an island, so. Just lead with that one pretty safely, I think. Does he have a Pyroblast? Spell Pierce? Okay, 3rd Pestermite. Don't want this land. Snapcaster is okay. It's definitely not great. I'm kind of worried about him just playing a thing main phase and resolving it. So I don't really want to play the Tarn. I don't want to fetch end of turn. But I guess if I'm going to play Pestermite on 3, I'm either going to have to play a land on tapped or fetch a Vents anyway. So maybe I should just get the Tarn out there anyway. And then just not crack. Now we have a 2nd red, so we can just fetch an island, so. Not really losing out on too much here. Is this the part where I just want to start test spelling him with Pestermites? I think I would rather just place them out. And if they die, it's whatever, because I have so many, I'd rather just not have a bunch of Pestermites stuck in my hand. If he Cryptics this, so be it. I don't really mind. Oh, he bounced my land. That's wild. That is some wild stuff. Now I could snap Serum Visions if I wanted to. I think I'm better off just continuing to Pestermite him. Does he just have a bunch of Cryptics and that's why he's doing this? He wants to bounce my land again, that's fine. It's kind of a weird game. I think it's safe to assume that he's twin at this point, although I guess it could be like Blue Moon or something too. We'll test spell with this last Pestermite, see what happens to this. And then maybe next turn, Vendilion, see what he's actually up to. I feel like I'm just going to lose the counter war over this Vendilion, so maybe I just wait until I get to 7 mana. Alternatively, I could just run out another Pestermite, but I don't really want to get electrolyzed for full value. So we'll just pressure him with the 1, see how this goes. Now, we have a tiny clock in play, but we have access to 2 counterspells. And this kind of forces him to make a move at some point. So I think we're doing okay. And then, yeah, next turn I can just play this pool untapped. And we can hit him with a Vendilion. Let's get a Watery Grave here, so we actually have 2 black sources. I guess Delta was slightly better than Breeding Pool. To find our last island. And I feel like if he hadn't electrolyzed, he probably would have tried to fight over this Pestermite at some point. So I don't really mind committing Vendilion and Pestermite. Could certainly end poorly. With him having so many islands, I would think something like Blue Moon, or it could just be straight Blue-Red Twin. Obviously, it's like kind of hard to tell the two until you see something like a Pestermite or a Deceiver Exarch, but either way, the Twin deck is slightly more threatening, and then Blue Moon is just trying to kill you with these like big, expensive sorceries. It's like Wormcoil or Keranos or whatever, so we'll see. We'll see. There's a Blood Moon. So, could still be Twin. But we'll fetch our last basic island. And then, do I start things off with Vendilion? I think we do. We'll see what he has to say about this. Nothing, apparently. Vendilion him. No responses. And he is full on Blue Moon. So 3 Snapcaster, a Snare, and a Shackles. Shackles is kind of bad times. And his Snapcasters don't do a whole lot, although he does have Snap Remand plus Snare. So I think this Blood Moon is probably going to get to resolve. Unless I take the Snare with the Vendilion, which might be a good move, actually. So I take the Snare. I can negate the Moon. He'll Snap Remand. And it's just whatever. If he remands my negate, I just recast it. If he remands his Moon, I could also just remand his remand. So yeah, I think we'll take Snare just because we have negate and we have Snapcaster negate. And he does have, like, you know, Snapcaster his own counter spells, but, you know, we'll figure that out. I think we mostly just want to stop this Blood Moon from resolving right now because we do want access to our black cards. So, Todd did have the basic Swamp, which I cut, so maybe that was not the wisest move. Maybe it should be in the sideboard. He just lets it resolve. He doesn't want to fight over it. He thinks I'm going to kill him. He's going to go for Shackles. I'm just going to remand this right now. Draw another remand, which is excellent. And I'm going to hit him for 5 down to 8. I don't have enough to pester my tap a land and then do all the things I want to do, so I'm not going to do that upkeep. I could play it and untap a land, but I don't really want to do that either. He has to think twice. Ooh, I'm jealous. Alright. Now the battle begins. I'm pretty happy with my decision to actually click away his Spell Snare. Yeah, I think I just let his Snapcaster resolve. He's going to target Remand, presumably. I can Remand his Remand. And then I can Snapcaster negate his Shackles. And then we have 7 points. We can pass from my tap his Snapcaster if he doesn't have a 1 mana card. So he's just going for the remand on my negate out of the graveyard, which is effectively a hard counter. Doesn't actually put it back in your hand because of how flashback works. But I still don't think that he's going to end up good on this exchange. Basically because we drew this extra remand. Alright, so he could still have a Lightning Bolt, so we're going to start things off with the Serum Visions here. Maybe draw another counter spell. So bottom and top. And yeah, we have enough mana for all this. So Pester might tap his guy, and that should be game. So Fish Plan worked out pretty well in this matchup. I think I played this game pretty well too. Just all about, when you decide to blink and whatnot. And I'm not sure if I like his Cryptic Bounce Your Land. Like he was missing land drops there. So obviously he doesn't want to get too far behind. But I think it's more important for him to probably draw into his own lands than try and set me back. So, I don't know. Like I gotta respect anyone whoever thinks of that play, just because it's like so tempting to just draw a card as opposed to not. But then again, some people do get kind of carried away with when they think of this cute play that they just want to do it all the time just because it's like cool or whatever. And in that spot, I think it was close actually, but I think he would much rather just draw the card. And as you saw, like people actually just like played pretty scared. Our opponent in round 3 definitely did, and our opponent here definitely did as well. And it's like my plan never at any point really revolved around Splinter Twin. So yeah, I don't know. I think the plan works. The deck could definitely use a little work, I think. But I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Like I feel like there are matchups where you definitely do want to combo, and in those matchups, you want to have those tools, and right now the deck doesn't have the tools. Like, I don't have the Spell Skies, I don't have the Dispels, and those would have been really helpful in my round 3 match, because things like Tasigur aren't going to beat a guy that's going wide with Lingering Souls and Gavany Township. So, I definitely like the deck, and I like what's happening here, but it could definitely use some work.